The ATR fuel system is composed of the following systems: a storage system, 2 tanks, one in each wing, with its associated ventilation system, a distribution system with 2 engine feed systems and a refuel-defuel system, an indicating system, fuel quantity and left fuel feeder tank temperature. Storage system. Each wing is composed of a feeder tank, a main tank, a vent surge tank, a venting system. The fuel is stored in 2 tanks, one in each wing, formed as an integral part of the wing structure. The maximum fuel capacity per tank is 3,185 litres, 2,500 kilograms, 5,512 pounds, for a fuel density of 0.785. The total volume is 6,370 litres, 5,000 kilograms, 11,025 pounds. An additional volume in each tank allows a 2% thermal expansion of fuel without spillage. Each tank has its own venting system, which connects it to a vent surge tank in all flight configurations. The wing centre box structure, located above the fuselage, contains the fuel crossfeed and tank's refueling pipes. To prevent the fuel accumulation due to a leak, this wing centre box is vented and drained. Distribution system. In normal conditions, each engine is supplied from its associated wing tank. The outboard 100 litres vent surge tank is not a fuel storage tank, but is an integral part of the fuel ventilation system. The vent surge tank serves as a reservoir for main tank overflow due to fuel thermal expansion. The main tank stores the fuel and supplies the feeder tank through a feeder jet pump. And by gravity via flap valves. The inboard 160 kilogram, 353 pounds feeder tank supplies its respective engine and contains a jet pump, and an electrical fuel pump. It is always full and protects the engine feed system against negative or lateral load factors. A 28 VDC electrical pump installed in a canister supplies fuel to the engine during starting. Note, each electrical pump is able to supply one engine in the whole flight envelope. The canister, equipped with a self-sealing system, is installed on the lower surface of the feeder tank. It allows the electrical pump to be removed without emptying the fuel feeder tank. The engine feed jet pump is activated by high-pressure fuel from the Engine Hydromechanical Unit, HMU, and is controlled by a motive flow valve. The low-pressure shut-off valve is located between the tank outlet and the corresponding engine. It is controlled by its associated fire handle. Distribution. Cross-feed valve, controlled by the cross-feed push button, located on the cockpit fuel panel, allows both engines to be fed by only one fuel tank, or one engine to be fed by both tanks. Each system is equipped with a pressure drop protection. Fuel indicating system. 6 probes are installed in each tank. And electrically connected to the Fuel Control Unit FCU. The FCU is composed of 2 independent channels equipped with a microprocessor to compute and convert ARINC 429 signals into asynchronous full duplex signals used by the new avionics. The quantities and the fuel flow are computed by the FCU and displayed on Multifunction Display MFD and Engine Warning Display EWD. In order to prevent a total fuel information loss on one side following one FCU channel failure, each channel receives the opposite engine fuel flow indication. The fuel tank capacity is expressed in terms of mass. Fuel indicating system also comprises a fuel tank temperature sensor fitted on quantity probe located in the left-hand feeder tank, which sends information to MFD engine page. 4 magnetic fuel quantity indicators, dipsticks. The fuel control panel is located on the upper part of the overhead panel. This fuel control panel is associated with a system display SD engine secondary displayed by default or on pilot request on the MFD. Observe the relationships between the fuel control panel and the system display engine secondary page and their meaning. The pump push buttons control electrical pump and jet pump motive flow valve in each tank. Off. The pump push button is released. The electrical pump is deactivated and the jet pump motive flow valve is controlled closed. Off illuminates white. Run illuminates green when the electrical pump is activated. Extinguished. The pump push button is depressed. When a fuel low pressure is sensed at the jet pump outlet, engine not running or jet pump outlet pressure less than 5 psi, the electrical pump is automatically activated and the motive flow valve remains closed despite being controlled open until sufficient pressure is available. During start, 30 seconds after fuel pressure is available and jet pump normal operation is sensed by the 600 millibar 8.5 psi pressure switch, the fuel electrical pump is automatically switched off. When the electric pump is set to off but continues to run, off is still illuminated white on the fuel overhead panel and the amber symbol is displayed on the system display engine secondary. On system display engine secondary, an amber cross symbol is displayed when fuel electrical pump signal is invalid. Low pressure valve position indication. The position of the fuel low pressure valve is displayed on the system display secondary engine page. Each low pressure valve is controlled electrically by its associated fire handle. In line. The low pressure valve is open. Flow bars illuminate green. Cross line. The low pressure valve is closed. Flow bars illuminate green and cross the system flow line. Note: During transient phases, opening or closing, flow bars are extinguished, and on system display secondary engine, the low pressure valve is displayed in blue. Amber symbol is displayed on system display secondary engine when there is a disagreement between fire handle push button and low pressure valve position. Amber cross symbol is displayed when the low pressure valve position signal is invalid. Crossfeed push button controls the operation of the fuel crossfeed valve. In line, the crossfeed push button is depressed. The valve is open. The flow bar illuminates green in line. Both electrical pumps are automatically actuated. During a crossfeed operation, a blue fuel crossfeed steady indication is displayed on the memo panel. However, if both fuel electrical pumps or that which is on the tank with the most fuel is off, the indication becomes flashing. Cross line. The crossfeed push button is released. The valve is closed. The flow bar illuminates green and crosses the system flow line. Note: during transient phases, opening or closing, flow bar is extinguished. Permanent extinguishing of both bars indicates a valve fault. On system display secondary engine, the crossfeed is displayed in amber. Amber cross symbol and the grey pipe on system display secondary engine indicate that crossfeed position signal is invalid. Blue crossfeed symbol with grey pipe on system display secondary engine indicates crossfeed valve is open and two electrical pumps are off. Feed low pressure light illuminates amber when fuel delivery pressure drops below 300 millibars, 4 psi, indicates a pump failure or a fuel cavitation, activates the flight warning system, FWS, master caution plus single chime plus engine warning display, and information is displayed on system display engine secondary. Amber cross symbol on the feed low pressure label indicates feed low pressure signal invalid. Fuel tank temperature, fuel tank temp indicator, indicates a temperature measuring device is installed only in the left feeder compartment. Temperature is displayed on system display secondary engine from -53 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius and from 50 degrees Celsius to 99 degrees Celsius. Segments, readout are displayed in amber. From 1 degree Celsius to 49 degrees Celsius, segments, readout are displayed in green. For value equal to or lower than -54 degrees Celsius or equal to or higher than 100 degrees Celsius, reverse video readouts are displayed in red. Amber dashes indicate that the fuel temperature signal is invalid. Fuel quantity, fuel QTY indication, indicates fuel quantity in each tank in kilograms or in pounds, is displayed in green in normal situation on system display secondary engine. Note: the value is replaced by amber dashes when the fuel quantity signal is invalid. The fuel on board, FOB, is the total fuel quantity on board inserted manually by the pilot before flight into the FMS. This information is permanently displayed on EWD. Fuel on board is continuously updated along the flight, taking into account aircraft fuel flow. The fuel used, permanently displayed, is computed by the display unit itself, thanks to fuel on board from the FMS and fuel flow information coming from the fuel control unit. Fuel used can be reset on the performance page, called using the perf push button on the EFIS control panel, selecting Reset Fuel Used with the MCP. Low-level illuminated amber bar on the main and feeder tanks, and fuel quantity value in amber on system display engine secondary indicate a fuel quantity less than 160 kilograms in the corresponding tank. Activate the flight warning system, master caution plus single chime plus EWD. Note: the fuel quantity value is displayed white in a red box when the fuel quantity in the corresponding tank is equal or less than 50 kilograms. Note: when low level is illuminated on one tank, the corresponding electrical pump is automatically actuated. Amber bar, feeder tank only, on system display engine secondary, is displayed when the feeder tank is not full 10 minutes after fuel electrical pump energization. Note: the MFC send a signal to CAC which is memorized. Byte-loaded magnetic indicator amber on right-hand maintenance panel. An amber crossed low-level label is displayed when the fuel tank low-level signal is invalid. Lab amber label indicates a discrepancy between both fuel control unit FCU channels or between the FCU itself and DU's pin programming. Aircraft configuration. Aircraft is energized. Both engines are not running. Both feed low-pressure amber lights are illuminated. Cross-feed valve is closed. Both fuel electrical pumps are off. Electrical pump number 1 is started by depressing the corresponding pump push button. In normal operation, the electrical pump is only used to start the engine. Engine 1 is now started. After start, the engine feed jet pump, supplied by the HMU return line, takes over automatically. 30 seconds later, and when pressure reaches 8.5 psi, engine 1 electrical pump is de-energized. The same sequence is applied to engine number 2. Each engine feed jet pump supplies its own engine. Aircraft configuration. Both engines are running. Both fuel electrical pumps are not running. Both feed low-pressure amber lights are extinguished. Cross-feed valve is closed. Each engine is supplied by its own fuel tank. Cross-feed valve operation is performed in case of engine feed system failure, fuel tank balancing. For example, let's consider a fuel unbalance which can be resolved by supplying both engines from the right tank. An action on the cross-feed push button opens the cross-feed valve. Both electrical fuel pumps are forced to run, and associated run lights illuminate green. A blue fuel crossfeed label is displayed flashing on the MFD memo panel. Now engine 1 pump push button is released on the tank where there is least fuel. Closing at the same time, its associated motive flow valve. Due to a correct cross-feed operation, the fuel cross-feed message becomes steady. Note: with cross-feed push button depressed, fuel cross-feed flashes as long as both electrical fuel pumps are selected on or off, or if the electrical fuel pump is shut off where the fuel tank quantity is higher. You will find in the Flight Crew Operating Manual more information about fuel limitations. Refer to the Master Minimum Equipment List, MMEL, 28, pages 1 and 2, if needed.
Your answer is correct. 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 Your answer is correct.